Standing in the north corner of Langraskaya, hailing from Finland, he is an astonishing 5'4", weighing in at 300 pounds, the King Talisman.
That's right, and in the left corner, in the red trunks, it is Luvnest, weighing at 850 pounds. He is German, he has been eating way too much bratwurst recently. It is Luvnest!
And over to our colour commentators for today, we have A and his sidekick, Stormless. Wow, what a great game to be watching today. It looks likely to be fantastic and riveting action. North side Langraskaya as Soviets. I mean, he's King Dan, but will he be king for long? Because the guy in the south is a very fierce opponent.
That is right, yeah. What a contester to have for the second game. Beating Theodosis is a huge challenge, but then to come up against Luvnest afterwards, Talisman's got to be thinking, ugh, really? Because it is difficult. You know, this game requires you to win your second game to get that prize, and Luvnest is going to put a huge challenge in front of Talisman right now. I just want to point out, whilst we're at the start of the game, in previous games on Langraskaya, we've seen the Stern Pioneers rush up to that house on the right VP, and that's because even if the Engineers rush this building, Stern Pioneers win from the corner. We didn't see that today. We saw the Volksgrenadiers rush up to the right-hand side, and that resulted in a loss engagement. Interesting to just point that out.
Definitely. It's also a breath of fresh air today to be seeing Luvnest competing as OKW on Langraskaya. Obviously, it's one of the most played Company Heroes 2 maps, but it's not been seen in that many tournaments recently because of the VP configuration making the games overly drawn out. It's now back again thanks to a revision, and that's now we're allowed to see how Luvnest plays it in a tournament context. Obviously, with a lot of barbed wire to cut off that building there, taking the Storm Pioneers south. Seems like he's just concentrating on getting his resources up and running before he makes any major assaults.
Yeah, and a sensible thing to do as well. This is going to be an interesting one. So, anybody that maybe had checked out recently, I did a masterclass with Luvnest on YouTube to kind of just see his style and what he was doing. It seems like Luvnest at the moment is still experimenting. He actually said King of the Hill is a great format to experiment, you know, playing certain strategies against players in a competitive scene. So I'm still expecting this from Luvnest. 4 Volksgrenadiers at the start of the game. You know, it's we're going to see what he's trying to utilize. And I actually played against him yesterday. He's playing as Austere, so you know, I don't think he's got a set meta for himself at the moment. It's like a set build order that he follows. So I think it's really interesting to watch this game and see what he does.
One of the greatest minds in our game, new balance patch, he's able to now really test himself out and find the least path of resistance. He's also got that kind of meta about himself that he likes to save his best strategies for his most fierce opponents. And I definitely think Talisman comes into that category. Very dangerous guy. You don't want to allow him to run roughshod over you with his conscript-based builds. But in this game, Talisman is showing a lot of respect to Luvnest. He's going for an MG, the Maxim from Tier 2. It may be the map, it may be because he's up against the GCS champion, the last major tournament winner, Luvnest. But either way, it's a different approach from Talisman.
I think it always helps as well to maybe switch up your playstyle. You know, it's the kind of thing you need to be versed in many different builds and many different strategies so that you can adapt on the fly. That's what's going to stop you from being predictable. That ultimately is going to end up with you being able to surprise your opponents more. Talisman is one of those people. I do think he takes gaming here seriously. I often find that he does change. You know, he does adapt to the situation, whatever the scenario is. I love this, by the way. Look at this right-hand side strategic point. He's put the green sandbags there. It might not have been him, actually. I think the Volksgrenadiers put it there, but he's mining the other side of it.
Yeah, a lot of great tactical plays so far. Mostly just infantry pushing one another off, but then it's all about the construction of sandbags, barbed wire, and mines even. They're definitely just trying to find any edge they can by terraforming the map in their favour, and it makes for a very interesting scenario, and it's one of those things that is highly indicative in my mind of a higher level play, But we have got a unit about to emerge that could upset the very delicate balance of things. Well, if this Folk Grenadier can survive, that's one thing that could upset any balance. The flak half-track is about to emerge.
Yeah, this is an interesting one, because Luvnest already knows that tier 2 has been chosen by Talisman. He can see from the Maxim that is on the field that has been used. And so he knows that the AT gun is going to be a possibility. He's still basically saying, you know, this flak half-track is going to have value for me. And I wonder how he's going to use it. Is he going to be using it as a support, allowing the infantry to push? Or will he try and get some aggression with it, pulling either side of the AT gun? Either way.
No, I doubt he'll do the latter of those two things. I think Luvnest is a very calm and cool and collected player. He's aggressive in the right measure. He's not overly aggressive. You know, he'll be putting it into really good positions, trying to protect its flanks from any future AT gun build. Not that there is one right now, so it'll certainly have a little window of possibility to be really aggressive. But in general, Luvnest is a very, very calculated play, and you're going to see examples of that.
Are we going to see that mine go off on the right-hand side? Volk's Grenadier is happy to cap outside of the green cover for the moment. These little mines, by the way, are absolutely decisive at the start because they just eat away at manpower at a point where you're trying to churn units on the field. You know, you need it to cap the map. Early game mines they can force a squad retreat. You know, they can force manpower reinforcement that stops units coming to the field quickly. I'd say it's like such a smart decision to do it, but as we see here, mine hasn't been beneficial. Probably could have been. It's a good idea, but it could have been in a better place.
Oh, it's still there. Can be used later on, I guess. Here we go. The flak half-track's in a decent position to pepper this Maxim. It's already pushed one off, allowing the cap of the central victory point.
Nice.
And now it's
hitting the ground. Did you see that? Because of the elevation?
Yes. Elevation. Company Heroes 2's main weakness. Seemed to work quite well in Company Heroes 1, and then something in the engine coding doesn't really translate well over. Talisman now indeed waiting. Oh no, my god, he's not going for a Zis gun. He's going straight for tier 3. That's an interesting approach. Maybe get an SU-76 out, something like that.
Probably is a good idea, yeah. I'm trying to really think about Talisman's normal playstyle. I haven't seen him play in a while, so it's a bit difficult for me to say. But as you point out, an SU-76 would be a good complement to the army right now. He needs something long distance that's going to be able to cope with the flak half-track. It also has access to the barrage, which is great for displacing the Volks Grenadiers in the green cover positions through the center. So it would be probably one of the better decisions. I think that
such a great map for it as well. I mean, tank destroyers on this map, massive plateau with huge lines of sight that are also wide. It's not confined channels, so it's always a good choice. I mean, me and Dan go talking about Unit 4 it's even built, but that's what we do tend to sometimes do. ISG out for Luvnest. It's going to certainly help picking off these Maxims. Well, no, he's gone for the T-70, so that's why we've just wasted a lot of our lives talking about a unit that's a fantasy.
I think it's good to have the debate on what the sensible decision is. The T-70 is going to be very flexible at going around the map. It's still going to be very good against the flak half-track, and more importantly, it's going to counter infantry more effective at the range. So, you know, either decision is fine. We do see that mine did go off, by the way, on the right strategic point, which has allowed him to win that engagement.
And another mine goes off, damaging the flak half-track. Maxim can't quite penetrate enough there. It's going to be able to reverse slowly away, almost brutally away. T-70 is emerging. It's going straight down that road. Maybe he could go for a sneaky pick-off here. If
there is nothing around. There is nothing around that flak half-track at the moment. There's suppressed Volks Grenadiers, an LEIG, and the T-70, you can see it. Look at it careering through the map right now.
Through the map. This is amazing. It's one more shot required, Dan.
Oh, he needs to ground attack through the smoke. He gets it. Great play by the T-70. Talisman wiping Luvnest's first light vehicle in the game off the map with a great mine. Great mine placement.
As well. They're so bunched up. That could have been even worse. One shot there could have wiped 5 Volks Grenadier models. He retreated just in time. But this T-70, what an incisive action from Talisman. He sensed that there was nothing stopping him, and his game sense was bang on, going straight down the map. And that's the difference between Talisman and other players in a similar tier of play, is he will be hyper-aggressive when he needs to.
Absolutely. We saw this in the last game, this great play from the T70 actually. He was using it behind the hedgerow with ground attack. Talisman's ground attack is on point. He really is making the most. You can't hit his tank, but it can hit you. And he's utilizing that part of the game very effectively.
He is. It's Talisman, a pro Overwatch player. I couldn't imagine him being a Reinhardt. He'd probably charge in all the time. He's probably a DPS. I'm very interested to know what he actually plays. Nice bit of getting for action there, pushing the T70 away. But then straight away, the Maxim kicks in. Yeah,
Maxim won't get the suppression on the first magazine. It's good though. It's nice to get that Raketin shot off. Luvnest is going to be pleased with that because it means Talisman now has that psychological trigger. I can't be overextending with this. Yeah.
I am slightly triggered right now, Dan, because you described the Maxim as having a magazine. It's a prototype MG from the 19th century. It has a drum round.
Oh, I'd like to make an apology to all those history buffs out
there. Sorry. Right, we got this second SWS supply truck on the field. I wonder what he's going to go for. He has the fuel to go straight for the Schwer. He's definitely driving into the map incisively there. Let's not look at it because it means he'll probably not deploy it for further 5 minutes.
I think tier 4 will be the preference. He's kind of in a defensive position right now. The suppression that brings to infantry will be kind of invaluable as he's fighting out. He can't afford to spread out anymore. He's going to have to fight for his side. Look at this though. He got the Faust off on the T70. Raketin's got another shot. Hits the shot. Oh, it misses. No, that could have been the shot that took the T70 down. Instead, oh, we're left with a different story.
Down, indeed. And the combat engineers of the Flamethrower doing great work to push everything away. Maxim firing incessantly. That could have been a very different story. That is a bit of bad luck for Luvnest. Obviously, you know, you can't always expect a Vet Zero Raketin to get those kind of shots off, so it's not just one of those things. We do have the truck deploying now. It is indeed going to be a Schwer, so Luvnest launching himself into tier 4. Oh god, combat engineers about to go down to the Stern Pioneers. One more shot, there you go. Stern
that's good.
To the rescue.
Not just the manpower wipe, manpower ammunitions wipe takes away. I think the engineers with the flamethrower is actually a really important unit to have when you go conscripts, because of course the flames weaken those squads so much that the conscripts can really win those engagements after the bursts have gone up. But look at this, Talisman. 3 VPs right now with just above 10 minutes of gameplay. He's got double fuel. He's got loads more strategic points.
Wow.
He is in a control position. Luvnest is fighting from the back foot. We don't hear that very often.
We don't. He's one of the best at it. You know, fighting from his back kind of thing. But he is one of the best at it. He can be a great reactionary player on the defense. But Talisman has not showed many signs today of letting up. Once he's seen blood, he tends to go for it. He gets that jugular and he gets the kill. And that's what we've seen from Talisman so far today. And his map control speaks for itself.
It does. So Luvnest is trying to get VP controlled right now, and this is something as well I know of Luvnest. He can identify when this situation is going bad. VPs will be his focus. He will look to control the map around the VPs at this point, whilst he builds up a composition that works for him. Now, I don't know what that composition is going to be. However, I know that he's defending some very, very tight spaces right now. He's only got the one Raketin, and he's pretty pushed up with a lot of infantry.
He is defending very hard right now. He does have that Raketin, but he's making the most of it. It's hit quite a few shots so far, and it's just done enough to keep the T70 away as Stern Pioneers are surviving. And that is what Luvnest intends to do right now. Focus Grenadiers need to survive, and as does the player utilising them. Because he wants... I mean, people in chat have already said game over, but they couldn't be further from the truth. You're looking at the confirmed best player in the world as of July 2017. We're only 6 months later down the line. Cloak Raketin, and he's trying to get a...
That's a really unfortunate arc. I think that was an attack move, because if he'd have arced that right, he would have got the shots off and probably the shot on the retreat. Talisman equally is aggressive on these VPs right now, making it very difficult for Luvnest to regain control. But I agree with you, A. This looks like it's turning to be a very good game because we're going to see Obersoldaten on the field. Now, provided that the Raketen can follow the T-70 and that the Volksgrenadiers can hold the front line, the Obersoldaten are going to melt through those conscripts. So these aggressive pushes from Talisman will start to diminish in actual success.
They will.
This game goes on.
I mean, he's up against two Maxims, up against the T-70s. The Obersoldaten aren't going to be the super Ubermensch they possibly sometimes are seen as. I mean, but they're definitely the best unit for Luvnest right now because he's saving his fuel to get something big out of Tier 4. We don't know quite what it is going to be, but I'm sure it's going to help change the game. And he wants something that will allow him to bide his time till he gets to that point. Just look at the control he's regained just in a matter of 2 minutes. We're only 16 minutes into this game, but it feels like it's been such a great battle. We've seen a lot more action than we could usually expect from a game only in its infancy, really.
He's doing great, and he look at this. He just lines up the Raketen perfectly. He knows where that T-70 will go if Talisman's trying to defend sensibly. And what was lost there?
Volksgrenadier was just absolutely smashed by a guard's grenade in the center. Looked away for one moment, so did Luvnest, and that's what happened. Also, thing to note, by the way, is Luvnest is a TAC map orientated player. TAC map orientated players are often vulnerable to nade wipes. You'd be surprised to know. You know, you get your guys that don't use the TAC map, such as Helping Hands, and then the guys that absolutely need to use it, like Luvnest, and that can sometimes happen.
Yeah, agreed. Well, we can see the line of Volksgrenadiers crawling towards the VP. That was a full squad wipe then. I didn't expect that, but I can definitely understand the surprise in your voice. Great use of the Raketen again. I think the shot, it seemed to miss, but still did some damage. I've seen this happening a couple of times, actually. The shot doesn't look like it penetrates, but...
AoE is a thing, I guess. I mean,
yeah,
but you know, it could also be a glitch as well. Talisman is getting something from Tier 4 right now. It is going to be the T-34-85 variant, so a little bit more metal for your tank there. It's going to help out quite a lot. If AE can get his words out in a coherent order, that would be fantastic. This ISG's been plinking away. It's got 7 kills so far. The Maxim is feeding it ever so slightly.
I still think, to be honest, Luvnest is just doing really well to hold off against this. He's not making it easy for Talisman, even with the wipes. This is not an easy game. Luvnest may have to consider, I mean, he has got enough fuel now to go for, you know, his first medium vehicle, whether that's Panzer IV or Panzer IV, or is he going to save up for the Panther? Bear in mind he hasn't picked his doctrine yet, so Command Panther is still on the cards if things do get really bad.
But he has obviously spent a lot of fuel on that Schwer Panzer headquarters, so players usually tend to use it if they've done that, rather than get that Panic Panther out, which has been known. He's got it going indeed for the Panzer IV, so he's definitely going to try and build his composition and not just have the one main battle tank. He's going to go for a few, it would seem. Let's check out the stats, Dan. I always like having a little look at the stats on the overview screen. Look how tight the KD is. Very, very close in this game.
Yeah.
Onto the graphs, army value. Just see that with the advent of a tank, Talisman surges ahead, but Luvnest is going to be joining him very shortly. What else can you make out there?
Well, despite Luvnest nearly being ahead in army value the whole time, whatever you make of that, Luvnest has just lost so much territory control through the game. Talisman is going to be on the resource lead. You know, Talisman's go first with the tech choice. That can be good in a way, though. Because if your opponent does get to that tech choice first, you know to counter it, you know what I mean? And if the situation isn't dire, you can counter it and still get some effect. Luvnest has chosen the Panzer IV. It's great, it's going to be good against chasing down that T-70, mitigating its map control, and also being just enough defense with those side armor skirts.
He needs to, because that T-70's tearing everything up at the moment. It's just gotten its 12th kill, but now it's vulnerable. It's just entered recon mode. No. and secure moded itself away. Just the sight of the Panzer Mark IV was enough to... the T-70 now knows its place in life. Its place is on the back lines, harassing the victory points on the side. It's no longer something to contend the centre, thanks to this main battle tank on the field.
We're going to have our second T-34-85, a great position for Talisman to be in. Luvnest doesn't have the fuel to create a counter yet. Luvnest just picks his commander choice. He's actually gone for Fortifications Doctrine.
Nice.
Now, I wonder what the plan is with this. Is he going to use it for its defensive bunkers? Is he going to use it for the mines? Is that what he's going for? Or is he going to do the Gaming Bro hooligan strat of building that Pack 43?
Nice from the Rakettenwerfer from the centre. Olbelsoldatens finally to get their hands out of their pockets, to climb up to 4 kills with that action. Very well done. It is becoming a very interesting and incisive battle. This is Pack 43 territory, though. Longres has always been a great map for those heavy AT guns, and we could indeed see it. And that would be pretty much the operational end of the nice guard grenade in the northwest there. T-34-85 is pursuing the Volksgrenadier, missing wildly though. It's going to escape with its life.
Luvnest is having to do so much work with this Panzer IV. If you see the movement, I'd love to have a tool in KotH 2 that tracks the path of a vehicle through the game. It would be incredible. But Luvnest has been shunting this thing across left and right. He's now got 2 T-34-85s to contend with, 1 Raketten, and his infantry is not matching up par to par with MGs and conscripts. This is a tough position for him to be in.
Well, Dan, I'm offering to be your tool if you want me to be. I will get the map in MS Paint and draw a squiggly line where the tank has been, if you like, and then send it you, and then you can pull it up on screen. How about that?
Probably a little too much effort for worth.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Very kindly put, by the way. Oh, Pack 43 coming up high.
Oh
my
really?
God, it's 5% build, 10% build. This is hype, Dan.
This,
Pack 43.
Trying to catch the plane, getting taken down by the OKW headquarters, but turret just can't quite catch up. Any second now, we will catch it. Nope, I'm fed up of. I'm fed up.
Look at that crank wheel. That's what I'm talking about. Hurry up, crank it.
Oh, Pack 43 scouted. Luvnest immediately cancels.
Nice.
And
Panzer's very angry about that now. He's just etting a big shot from the T-34-85 though. Can't really contest too much. I wonder if he'll focus instead on the Stern Pioneer and get an easy kill. Yes, he does, and they retreat instantly, as of course. Just saw that turret change its arc by 10 centimeters. Here comes another T-34. Getting a cheeky shot in. Talisman showing his hyper-aggression once more. Great game sense.
This is tough. Luvnest has, let's just have a look at this. No resources, no VPs. His doctrine has been discovered by Talisman. The position in which he ideally wanted that Pack 43 has been scouted by Talisman, destroyed. Talisman's going for the Katusha because he knows that that Pack 43 could be back again. Great idea from Talisman.
He's shown his cards now, hasn't he, Luvnest? He's shown what commander he's had with no actual benefit from it. So the Katusha, the Stalin organ, is the perfect to implement. And it could be the sign of destruction come for Luvnest.
Wow. So, one thing I have to say, great gameplay, great builds and everything from Talisman so far. He's looking incredibly strong. And this is great. This is the first time we've seen Talisman in Season 2. We've had a lot of new 1v1 players. And Talisman isn't new, but he is... it's his first time doing this. I haven't seen him play in a while, and it just goes to show, like, there's some really good players in this community.
Talisman was inactive for most of last year due to his esports commitments elsewhere. I was just going to say esports commitments. And then I decided to add elsewhere to be positive about KotH 2 a little bit. But he can hear that there's something getting built, and you can always pinpoint there's the blowtorch, and here comes an orchestra that could be a symphony of destruction on Luvnest forces. Second wave of barrage from the Katusha.
Yeah.
And it is just a pyrotechnics display, Dan, but it's as the plane also hits the ground, but it will possibly mark Luvnest now being in a really strategically weak position.
It is, and also the recon plane from Mark Target has been scouting that Pack 43. So that has now been seen by Talisman. He knows that that is there. And again, this is not going to be a big player in the game. The KotH's next shots will probably be lined up on the Pak-43. I would pin it right now if I was a gambling man. I would not wager that Luvnest has much of a stake left in this game.
Okay, so I used to work for bookmakers. If I offered you Talisman at 1 to 3 odds, like you have to put £3 to win 1, how much would you put on it?
Wait, what?
So 1 to 3, right? You have to put £3. It's like a 33% profit to be made. How much money are you going to put on it?
Ooh, for Talisman to win, I'd put £50 on it comfortably.
Really? Honestly,
yeah,
that's a lot. That's like just to win like £13. Fair enough. Okay, you are a gambling man by the sounds of it. Rakettenwerfer is making some great shots here. Climbs to veteran C4 with that strike. T-34-85 is having to recoil in terror. Panzer doesn't pursue though. Luvnest knows he needs to be steady here. Nice grenade over the hedgerow. God's in trouble.
That was a really nice over-the-hedge grenade from the Obersoldat, and good bundle nade. Conscripts building green cover SAM positions against the Sturm Pioneers. They're going to be comfortably winning that engagement. Luvnest coming over with that Panzer IV.
Oh my god, the KotH instantly wiping those Obersoldaten with that barrage. That was horrific. An elite unit just ambling around, thinking about what great soldiers they are. And little did they know there were rockets flying through the sky. And they meet their demise as a result. Look at that uniforms.
Good spot, because I was like on the left-hand side following the other engagement. Raketten, veteran C5 now, trying to get as many shots off against this T-34 as possible. Look at the accuracy, look at the rate of fire. This Raketten could be a big player for Luvnest as the game goes on, and he needs it to be, really, because he is so far on the back foot now.
Look at those lovely elite uniforms of the Obersoldat and their camouflage, their well-maintained Kar 98 rifles, and they're all dead now.
Oh my gosh, Luvnest tips down to 100 VPs, and he's actually laying a minefield over the VP, chasing up with the Panzer IV, trying to stop the conscripts from getting sight of the minefield.
You know, this game still has legs. 97 victory points is more than enough for a master like Luvnest to contend. Don't be surprised if you see a comeback in this game. Well, it's still surprising, don't get me wrong, but Luvnest is a man that could make that happen. He has a Pak-43. He may have recently lost his Obersoldaten, but he's not a man that likes to lose. He has those kind of resources deep within his muscle memory, his experience, and he has the endurance to pull it off. So this game ain't over until it's over. Saying that, the Fudge Grenadiers aren't having a very nice time.
I agree. The one thing the Pak-43 is doing is it is covering the retreat path of the Panzer IV, so we're not likely to see a chase from any of the T-34s. Luvnest has managed to take his 2 VPs back. We see the Raketten there going up towards the center. All it needs is sight. The range is pretty good. Here comes that KotH again.
Third barrage this time. Wailing over ahead. Stalin Organ singing a pretty little ditty. I'm sure Luvnest wants to tune out of right now.
I think, to be honest, if Luvnest did manage to clear this MG on the right-hand side, make a little bit of a push there, he might be able to split Talisman's army up enough that he can reduce the impact coming through the center with all this infantry and T-34s. If he doesn't, Talisman can just focus center and left and get a pretty effective push on.
Huge hit from the T-34 there, causing serious problems. There's overall 3 of them. No, there's 2 of them, sorry. What have you seen, Dan?
Oh, we got Speedy guy. Speedy Gonzalez is running away.
Oh my god! Jesus Christ! Diarrhea when it strikes. You know what to do. Jesus Christ.
That guy got the shits.
He really has. That Rakettenwerfer, I mean, if only he could have put that much energy into killing tanks.
Precisely. I mean, Vet 5 just got lost on that Raketten. That was a huge player in the game. You know, to lose that is really unfortunate. That was the kind of the unit that he needed.
It is. and now he's in a really difficult situation. I think there's been a few unfortunate wipes here. The Vet 5 Raketten, obviously the Olber Soldaten. The fact that the Pak 43 hasn't actually fired a round in anger yet, because Talisman's just got its range. He's scouted it, he knows where it is, and he's using the infantry to push with the tanks backing them up. And that's just such a solid strategy in this case. It pretty much makes this huge manpower investment, the Pak 43, worthless.
Did you see that instant cancel with the LEIG firing on the engineers? I think Talisman immediately knew that something was scouting him and cancelled it immediately. Will the Raketten get the shot off? Yes, it does. Panzer IV would be foolish to push up at this far. He loses the Raketten again.
Oh, T-34A5 getting in range of the huge cannon, maybe? No, he just stays just on the edge of the range. This guy's playing a very pro game right now. Mark target is in. Another shot may have done the damage there. Oh, Katusha on the Western VP.
Wow, this is so heated. Luvnest is fighting with everything he's got. He's got 27 VPs left. This is like an all-out push. He's prepared to lose whatever. A second Panzer IV has come on. Will this be the pushing mechanism that he needs? VPs are neutralized. It is all or nothing right now. He has no time to lose. We will see some kind of push play come in for Luvnest to stay in. He's
have to get aggressive. He's got a fresh Panzer going straight into the center. Maxim eats a death immediately thanks to the Pintle mount. Here comes the T-34s. They can push in just to the extent of the range of the Pak 43, barely, and keeps the VP neutral.
Well, he's got the Stern Pioneers. They've got the combat support package, so they will be able to repair quickly. But he just doesn't have the infantry to maintain capping right now. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to winning my 33% on £50.
Oh, it wasn't a genuine odds, damn, you know. And the idea is hopefully that I was going to teach you a lesson about gambling. I was hoping you'd lose your money, but now you're probably going to think that you're a genius. And
just encouraged the problem.
Yes, exactly. I've fostered a horrendous gambling problem. Luvnest is currently competing in the east, got Focus Grenadier under terror of the Vet 3. T-70 couldn't stick it out for long enough. In the centre, he's possibly losing a Focus Grenadier, indeed he is, thanks to the Mosin Nagant rifles of the conscripts. He's competing in the west, Guards versus a Vet 5 Focus Grenadier. It's all happening right now, and Luvnest is just losing manpower. Grenade goes in from the Guards.
Yeah, I've seen that. Talisman is just controlling this very, very well. However, after all of that, even with the sizable army advantage that Talisman holds, he is still losing the VPs in the center. And now Luvnest may be making a bit of an overextension here. Thank God those shots didn't penetrate fully.
For the fans that want to see this game go longer, thank God indeed. Katusha now whirs into action once more. Oh no, it hasn't. That was something else. Sorry. It is ready though. It's coiled, and like a coiled spring, it will strike. You can expect it to release that potential at some point. C-34 lingering beyond the bushes. Great shot. Actually, does not penetrate the frontal armor though. Look at that angle.
Gonna take an AT grenade though. Is this Talisman's time to push? He's actually ground attacking through the hedgerow and the building. There's the ground attack lined up again. It's tense.
Not see the danger. This could be huge.
No, Luvnest is way too focused on getting those VPs at the moment. He's still trying to keep neutralized on the center. That's dissuaded by the Katusha firing its barrage. We're just seeing the last standing moments of a German giant. It's 8 VPs. He has no chance of winning right now. Talisman will take his second game.
And Luvnest takes one last breath as he sees his game flashing before his eyes. Jarl Talisman rolls on.
Wow, there we go. Talisman, our current king, a strong king as well, having defeated Theodosius and Luvnest. You've got to be asking yourself, do we have players capable of taking down Theodosius?
Okay, let me ask
just
myself.
taken down Talisman when he's taken down Theodosius and Luvnest.
Do we have players capable of taking out Talisman when he's just taken out Theodosius and Luvnest? Yes, yes, we do. We've got loads of great players lining up and careering to play right now. It's going to be a very interesting day to see if Talisman can consolidate his empire. He's, the first act was to raise Luvnest's citadel. He's done a great job of doing that. I think he's going to raise taxes next, so it's probably going to be an